What the fuck, man? This is Raw from November 3rd, 2025. Why is your host Tyler's back with this? This was in the rich events area in Real Rich, New Mexico. They said this is the first time Raw was in New Mexico, and regardless, we started with the new World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk, who won the title at Saturday's main event. Yeah. He talked about, it's great to be the champ on Monday Night Raw, says New Mexico or what, and Punk says the crowd, how they're feeling, they start firing up, and then Punk thanks his very intellectual and tough as nails wife, AJ Lee. Punk says, "Thank you, babe," and okay, that was funny since this, saying what's next for him, and say he thanks the fans, they call them the WWE Universe to tell him they're CM Punk fans, and there's that, there is a they deserve it chant, and the third person he wants to thank is Jey Uso, and Punk thanks him for the tough match and the hard fight, and Uso is a truly main eventer. No. Anyways, Punk doesn't know how much he has left, but SummerSlam taught him something. He had the title for 3 minutes after being Gunther, so he has to hold on to it highly. As now there's no snake in the grass that Ron's waiting in the way just to cash in the money bank briefcase, and there's that. The title is vanquished for 2 years. He walked around as a king, and there's that. Punk knows there's already a line with Braun and Breaker and Bronson Reed, the Vish, and says they're coming for the gold. And then he also mentions other people such as AJ Styles, yes, please let that be next year's WrestleMania match. Please let AJ win the Rumble, have him face Punk, and have AJ beat him for the title. And so he mentioned Dom, which I no. I think who doesn't have much time as John Cena, he will be seen as Huckleberry, which we've seen that before. And plus, that last match was good, though, but it was in Saudi Arabia out there. They goes on saying the champ is here, and he gets interrupted by Logan Paul. I'm like, no. And Punk was the same thing, really. And then, Punk tells Paul to go to SmackDown, and Eli Drago has an open challenge. There's more of Paul's line than Punk is in the ring, and Punk doesn't have the best Michael Scott impression. And it says Paul has been in the ring with Roman Reigns, John Cena, and AJ, and Paul beats Styles and Mania, which you should not. The crowd boos the shit out of this cocksucker. And then Paul Heyman comes up with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and he's talking to Mr. YouTube, and then Bronson Reed's Roman Reigns, the man who beat Roman Reigns, the tribal thief Bronson Reed, and up the line belongs to the future of WrestleMania. Braun Breaker, Paul isn't on the line, and then there's that. And then Punk starts brawling with him, and Bronson Reed gives Logan Paul a tsunami, and I was like, let this be the last time we see him. Honestly, I'd rather have Braun Strowman just hit him with 10 million more tsunamis and we'll never see his fuck face again. Of course not. Also, throughout this night, there were names for this farewell tour tournament to see who will be John Cena's final opponent. I'll tell you who they are. It's Damian Priest versus Rusev. Okay, that sounds like a good match on paper. We'll see what it will be next week. And Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sheamus. Again, that's a good match to see, really. And we'll find out what the others are on SmackDown. I hope to God Gunther is not one of them. Why am I saying not Gunther? Because I don't want another Goldberg situation like in Saturday's main event this past July. Again, if Goldberg is going to have his final match, and if he's going to have his last match for a championship, he should have won it. Yes, there would have been a tournament, and yes, Punk still would have won the tournament to win the vacant title, and yes, Seth Rollins still would have done the rules of the century. Where was I? Oh yeah, this. For the... Alright, it's just a tag match with Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez defeat Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vaquer. I'm just sick of seeing the judgment all over this fucking show. And yeah. Just, I don't care. A 1 out of 5 I'll give it. I already talked about the John Cena Farewell Tour, and there's that. Punk bumping into Jey Uso backstage. Uso says he says what happened out there. He's something in his heart. They're gonna have a tag match against the Bronze. Punk and Jey will face them in the main event. Which, oh god. Anyways, Penta defeats El Grande Americano. Thank God that happened. This was actually a decent match. A 2.5 I'll give it. The last one I think I'll give it a 1 out of 5. Yeah. Anyways, then there's the Kabuki Warriors video package. Again, this might be leaning towards a women's War Games match at Survivor Series, which there's that they talk about, going after the tag titles and that, which, yeah. And then Dom tells what's next for him, and then Dom gets a mixed reaction, and then all of a sudden Rey Mysterio comes back. And I'm like, wait, Rey? I forgot he was still around, but then again, he was on the shelf. And Rey says he's better than El Santo, Blue Demon, and Eddie Guerrero, which I was like, oh. We're in the month of November, and a week from this Thursday, it's going to be the 20th anniversary of Eddie Guerrero's passing. And you know what that week will be? Thursday. Survivor Series 2005, which I will talk about that next Thursday. But this Thursday, I will talk about Survivor Series 1996 because it's time to take a look at Survivor Series for this month of November. So they brawl afterwards, and I guess this is going to lead to a match at Survivor Series between Dom and Rey, which we've seen this before. And I say it again, the judgment was the reason why Rey went back to SmackDown 3 years ago. Anyways, then the commentators were talking until Becky Lynch jumped on the table and talked about, she got a husband who is injured at home. The Vision has lost their mind, ruined everything. Lynch said has been settled with a crooked referee, hell-bent on holding her down. And I was like, seriously, Jessica Hart is no Earl Hebner. And Becky Lynch, you're no Triple H. And basically talk shit about Max Dupree you don't survive in this business, but being lucky, and then There's that, welcome to the big time, and then the Kabuki Warriors walk down to the ring to beat Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Honestly, this was a solid match. Jesus Christ, I didn't mean to do that. With actually a really nice finish where Lyra's going to do something, but Asuka grabs her immediately into the Asuka like for the tap out win. Which, honestly, that was a great finish to the match. And then the tag chance of Charlotte and Alexa comes out. That's going to set up the match for next week, which, that's going to be a good match, though. Again, I think this lean toward a women's war game match. The face I 100% is going to be Charlotte, Alexa, Lyra, and Bayley versus the Kabuki Warriors, and they ran tonight. Charlotte and Alexa ran tonight, Jack, so I guess her, but let's hope she doesn't embarrass herself like last year. Oh my god, that was a bad fucking War Games match. 3.5, good match, though. And then we got another good match for the World Tag Team Championships. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee defeats Finn Balor and Jay Madonna. No more rematches for the fucking Judgment, please. Although I was worried they were going to win this match because Finn hit AJ with a shillelagh. Finley, you're not. And I was like, oh god, don't let this be the finish. Don't let this be the finish. But then Dragon Lee saves the day. Sheamus came out to attack Dom. And AJ wins the match with a Styles Clash. And there's that, Honestly, this was the best fucking match on the show. 4 out of 5. And yeah. Just enough with the Judgment nonsense. Just fucking end the fucking group, please. Anyways, then we get Stephanie McCarra's leaving when Nikki Bella apologized to her. Go away, Nikki Bella, please. There's another video of the Wrestling 42 commercial, which a lot of people criticize that whole thing about it, but let's be fair here. Stop! Stop keeping your hopes up, okay? It's just a fucking tease for WrestleMania 42. I already talked about the whole thing. John Cena will be there next week, which... There's that. And then we get the main event match between Punk and Jey Uso versus the Brawns. This did not start in first gear, really. They all get counted out, yeah. And then Jey Uso sends Braun's breaker into the steel stairs. Punk goes for a superplex on the floor, or suplex on the floor. And then Braun Breaker, I love the camera shot. They zoomed away from it. Braun Breaker spears Jey Uso out of his boots. And then, Reed and Breaker go under the ring. They grab some steel chairs. And then Logan Paul comes out and hits Punk with fucking brass knuckles. And he's part of this fucking thing. Why? If this is the lead to War Games, this should be the fucking opener. Give the women the main event spot for War Games this year's Survivor Series, please. This is not a match, really. This was just a... So... C-, I'll give it. I'll be fair. Because of that, but still. I'll do my Tom and Jerry Magic Ring review tomorrow. And then Wednesday will be episode 102 of Showdown going into Insurgents, so... There's that, so there's those. And Thursday, my second show, you can subscribe to Communication on that one, so you'll see Survivor Series 1996 on there, and there's that, so there. Like this video, comment below, subscribe to this channel, and include the notification bell, and there is that. Bye-bye.